If you ever find yourself in the beautiful Yorkshire countryside, you'll see them, the absolutely stunning ruins of Fountains Abbey. And wow, they are just breathtaking. But these aren't just a pile of old stones. No, they're more like a window, a direct portal straight into England's medieval past. And they tell this incredible story of faith, power, and, you won't believe it, some serious irony.
And that brings us right to the heart of it, the big question. It's a total paradox, right? You have a group of men who swear off all worldly goods, who pledge themselves to a life of simplicity, and they end up creating this massive economic empire. So how on earth did that happen? Well, let's dive in and find out.
To get this, we've got to go all the way back to the year 1132. And this story doesn't start with some grand plan for getting rich. Not at all. It starts with a deep spiritual need to find a purer, stricter way of life.
It all began with this number. Just 13 monks, that's it. A small but really determined group who actually walked out of their monastery in York because they felt it had just gotten too comfortable, too lax. They were looking for something real, a life of true austerity and devotion.
So who were these guys? Well, they were Cistercians, and you really have to understand their philosophy to get the story. They followed the rules of St. Benedict to the absolute letter. We're talking prayer, hard manual labor, and a life completely stripped of any and all luxury. They even wore these simple robes made of undyed wool, which is how they got their nickname, the White Monks.
And their daily life? I mean, it was incredibly disciplined. Just try to picture this. Your day starts way before dawn with prayers. Then it's hours and hours of hard farm labor. And all of this is done while you're under a vow of silence. You have no personal belongings, you eat simple meals, and you give total obedience to the abbot. Their whole goal was spiritual wealth, and they believed the way to get it was by giving up all material wealth. Okay, but this is where the story takes a wild turn, because all of that absolute dedication to hard work and being self-sufficient, it had a consequence they never, ever intended. It made them incredibly powerful. I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's the central irony of the whole story. See, in order to be self-sufficient, they had to become amazing at managing their land. They turned into brilliant farmers and, this is the crucial part, they became masters of raising sheep, and that plugged them right into the booming medieval wool trade. And you can literally see this transformation in the ruins themselves. The monks started out with basic wooden huts they built with their own hands. But as the money from all that wool and farming started pouring in, what did they do? They reinvested it into the abbey, creating the magnificent stone architecture we see today. Their success was literally carved in stone. You have to understand, Fountains Abbey wasn't just a place of prayer. It was an economic engine for the entire region. I mean, they were major landowners, they basically dominated the wool trade, and they were one of the biggest employers in Yorkshire, running mills, workshops, you name it.
But, as you can probably guess, this golden age wasn't going to last forever. After centuries of growing richer and more influential, the abbey started to face a perfect storm of problems, including one huge external force that would bring it all crashing down.
And even before the final blow, you could see the cracks starting to form. They had a string of bad harvests that really squeezed their income. They were dealing with constant, devastating raids from Scotland. And then, the Black Death hit in the 14th century, and it was catastrophic. It wiped out a huge number of the monks and the local workers the abbey completely depended on. So you can see how it all lined up. The Black Death created this deep weakness. And then, in the 1530s, along comes King Henry VIII, and he starts eyeing up the incredible wealth that England's monasteries were sitting on. By 1539, it was all over for Fountains Abbey. So what was this all about? Well, for King Henry VIII, it was basically a two-for-one deal. He was hungry for both political power and, you guessed it, money. By breaking away from the Catholic Church in Rome, he could make himself the head of the new Church of England, and, very conveniently, he could also seize the vast lands and riches of places like Fountains Abbey for himself. So the abbey was shut down, the monks were kicked out, the community was disbanded, but the story doesn't just stop there, because the ruins that are left behind have their own powerful purpose today. They give us this direct, unfiltered look into a world that's long gone. I mean, the abbey's importance is recognized all over the globe. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And that's because it's one of the most complete sets of Cistercian ruins anywhere in the world. It's a priceless piece of our history that we can still walk through and experience firsthand.
And what these ruins really teach us is that monasteries were so much more than just churches. They were the absolute cornerstones of medieval society. Think about it. They were the hospitals, the schools, the libraries, the hotels for travelers, and the biggest businesses in the area, all rolled into one. They were literally the glue holding the whole community together.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. When you walk through Fountains Abbey, you feel this tangible connection to the monks who prayed in that church, to the laborers who worked those fields, and to the entire medieval world that revolved around this place. It makes history feel real, you know?
So the next time you see a ruin, whether it's in a picture or you're standing right in front of it, remember Fountains Abbey. Remember that every single one of those stones has a story of ambition, of faith, of fortune, just waiting for us to uncover it.